It's hard to take Wednesday off because she's so cool. I look in the mirror and I see her. That judgmental glare is 2 seconds away. Hey Harpers, Bazaar, I'm Jenna Ortega, and I'm breaking down how I brought all of my most iconic characters to life. I thought you were, like, hip.
Honestly, I'm more of a book guy.
Why are you robbing your eyeballs of all things that are good? Ellie Alves from You Season 2. It probably was the driest spout I've ever had in my career. I had just gotten off of this Disney show, and I had about a year and a half where getting jobs seemed impossible. I couldn't audition for films, so it was a very confusing time. I was watching a ton of movies, a ton of shows, and I saw this show. And I was so excited by it. My agent actually repped Penn Badgley, and I said, oh, if they ever did another season, you gotta let me know if there's a part. And a week later, she gave me a call, and she said, Jenna, you will not believe. They're looking for a girl in your age range. And I said, well, when they start, I need to be the first one in there, please, please, please. And I was the first girl to audition, and I was the only girl who tested for that role.
It's not gonna be okay. It's always gonna be a mess.
What? What's gonna be a mess?
My life.
It was my first table read for You, but I remember just being nervous by the pressure of it all. Mid-table read, Penn stopped, put his hand on my shoulder and went, I'm so charmed by you. And I just about fainted, and nobody had ever told me that ever. And I thought that that was such a sweet, considerate way to put it, and yeah, I melted. Ellie appealed to me because she was cinephile. You know, I was 15, 16, so I was very insecure, was trying to find ways to express myself, trying to resonate with things in the world that, you know, brought me peace or maybe brought me closer to who I thought I might want to become, and that's what films were doing for me. So I loved that she kind of forced me to become familiar with all of these incredible creatives, but also I liked that she was very Valley girl. I felt like I knew who that person was. I didn't feel that Ellie's style was reflective of mine. You know, she borrowed a lot of her big sister's clothes, and she was trying different things, or maybe trying to emulate sort of this Greta Gerwig-esque, you know, when she was younger or something like that. So it felt very on point for what we were doing at the time, but it wasn't what I was wearing in mind.
You don't even need to wear makeup. Is that a gun?
We're looking at Beta Cavell. She's from The Fallout, and she's probably my favorite character I've ever played. Megan and I had a conversation, and it went really smoothly, and I don't know why she cast me or agreed to cast me, because I had no work that could show that I could carry sort of heavier material or more dramatic material. She just kind of trusted me, and because of that, I was so grateful. I wanted to put that same trust and respect into her when we worked together. Maddie was not attached to the project at the time, but we were pretty sure that Megan had her in mind. And Maddie is one of the few people, there's maybe 3 people in my life that I've talked to, and it's just instantly all poured out into this big, beautiful mess, and we can't shut up, and we don't touch our phones, and people think something terrible has happened because we're not getting back to anybody. She is one of those people for me, and I'm really grateful for this job because Maddie, she's just, I think, one of the greatest friends I'll ever have. So Veda is a character who I feel like I've known her, I feel like I've been her. I wanted to reflect that in a character that is so funny and unique, but ultimately so lost and so thrown off. It was just a new challenge for me, and to be able to do it with somebody so lovely, that was very, very important to me.
Would you like to play a game? Tara.
Tara Carpenter from Scream. I was a fan of the films growing up. They kind of were the first horror films that I could actually digest. They were just funny enough and just weird enough. The performances were so killer. I did 2 scenes for my audition for Scream. I did the opening scene. That was a cold read that I did in front of the directors, Matt and Tyler, for the first time. Terrifying. The main one, and the only one that they had initially sent, was a scene with Melissa Barrera and I in a hospital room after the first attack has happened, and when she gives me a huge spoiler in the film as to who her father is, and it's supposed to be this really emotional scene. Ooh, the first time you see the robe and the mask, you definitely get chills. It's weird. It feels like you're not supposed to be seeing it, because there is actually, believe it or not, a clear distinction from the real ones to the Party City ones. The real ones actually have shine. They've got glitter on them. Someone committing such gruesome acts should not be covered in glitter, yet they are.
When I suggested giving your side of the room a makeover, I did not have Ted Bundy's Pinterest in mind.
Still not as creepy as your stuffed unicorn collection. Wednesday Addams from the show Wednesday. I did 2 scenes for my audition, but one of the scenes was a scene with me speaking with Thing and threatening to torture him and lock him up in my drawer. It was pressure because I didn't know that I was gonna do it, and then I knew that I was gonna do it maybe 2 days before, and then they tell you less than 24 hours before that Tim Burton's gonna be on the call as well, which I had never read for Tim before, so yeah, that's scary. And I was coming off of a night shoot, so I'd been up for over 24 hours, covered in blood. I was wearing a prosthetic that cut my face, so I had just this gash across my chin, grease all in my hair. I think he kind of liked it. There's nothing I can say. I'm so terrified of spoiling anything. I feel anything that I say about the new season, people are gonna take it and run with it and create something that could potentially be so off it's funny, or so on the nose and true that that's scary and I might get in professional trouble. Producer this time around, really it felt like a natural progression. Tim Burton had always said that he wanted to be a soundboard for my voice, which was really sweet and really reassuring as a young 18-year-old in Romania during a pandemic. I think having the producer title just kind of gave me a bit more confidence to speak my mind, but then also just be a part of conversations that I wouldn't naturally be involved in, including, you know, going to production meetings and talking about the color of prosthetics and order of shots and people's schedules. It just was very fascinating. I love what I do, and I love to understand all facets of what I do. So it was nice to kind of have a door open and be able to see behind the scenes a bit more than I typically would. It's hard to take Wednesday off because she's so cool. She's just classic, she's timeless. She's one of those characters that has a perfect silhouette. You see a black outfit and you immediately associate it with her. So I think because she has that essence about her, it's super attractive and something that you naturally want to gravitate towards. After shooting the first season, maybe I would feel a bit stupid wearing a pink top after the fact. You know, she wouldn't want to see you in this. It's embarrassing. And I look in the mirror and I see her. That judgmental glare is 2 seconds away. So I think I kind of have to operate just knowing that she's around the corner. I don't know if I agree with all of that, but I did like what I saw today. Lorraine Day from X. X is one of those movies that I'm so glad it came my way. I think I was 17 when I first got it in my inbox, and I actually was working on Scream when it came up, and the directors of Scream, Matt and Tyler, were good friends with Ty West. I knew that I was gonna be in good hands going into X. It was such a bold, raunchy, but brave script, and you don't really see too many things like that anymore. That 10-minute monologue in Pearl is pretty revolutionary, I think. Mia Goth is the legend, and she's so gifted. To even have been able to work with her and learn from her and watch her work was such a gift. But also, I think I do have a soft spot for X, of course, because just it was the birth of something really wonderful and clearly inspired both Mia and Ty to continue the story. I have no idea what this girl's name is, but she was in Sabrina Carpenter's Taste music video. Maybe it was called The Girlfriend? That's The Girlfriend. I've known Sabrina for a while. She sent me references, Death Becomes Her and whatnot, and said that it might be fun. I was in the middle of the Beetlejuice press tour, so my schedule was insane. And I had an in-between day, a travel day, and that just so happened to be the day that they wanted to shoot this video. So I thought, okay, so do I rest and do I hang out and like take this in-between day? Or do I get in full glam and try on 6 or 7 outfits and kill someone repeatedly throughout the day? I said, all right, I'm gonna flip a coin. And heads or tails, let's go with tails. And I flipped it and then it landed and it was tails. So I said, oh, I have to do it. So I called my team and they said, are you sure? Like, we know you. And I said, no, it was tails. The girlfriend's backstory is she's lost, she's confused, she starts dating a loser. She enjoys her fun. No one's saying she's not a smart girl, but maybe she's just a little bit bored and needed something to kind of do.
I haven't been to a funeral since Dad's.
Death is hard.
Yeah, sometimes I think life is harder.
This is Astrid Dietz from Beetlejuice. That set, I was surrounded by so many people that I love and respect that I just kind of thought, right, I'm gonna be as professional as possible. I'm not gonna talk too much. I can only imagine someone who's like Winona, who's been so respected and so successful for so long, but Winona was so warm and so talkative. She would say something and then it sparked something in my brain, and we had to remember that we were in the middle of a scene working together. It was kind of like with Maddie, where it's just this kind of explosion and then it's never really settled. Honestly, I felt sometimes with Lydia and Astrid, it was a similar thing to Wednesday, where Lydia is so respected and so beloved that you don't want to rip her off or give audiences the impression that you're trying to do something that somebody already did so flawlessly in the past. It honestly wasn't too much inspiration. I think the way that the script was written, they naturally were similar in a lot of ways, so I just kind of try to take it in a different way. Astrid is more attracted to dark things, but more so out of this bitterness or resentment for the way that her life has turned out. So it's different motivation, and therefore it was really easy to make a clear distinction between the two.
Hello, little darling.
He's not here.
Hey?
He's not here. This is Anima from Hurry Up Tomorrow. Anytime that I've gotten to work with musicians, it's very exciting and inspiring for me. Trey and I talked for a bit. He's a really, really big filmmaker for me. I love his work. Then Abel came and he was a sweetie. But they're so lovely and they're so cool, and I felt like I was in such good hands, and I think I just really wanted to work with the two. I knew that I was going to be inspired and do something creatively unlike anything I had ever done before. Abel is so wonderful because, you know, he's curious and wants to learn. So he asks the best questions. He's so well prepared. He's kind of your dream partner in a scene. Barry is also a dream, but he's completely on the other end of the spectrum. His energy is bouncing off the walls. You could feel it from a mile away. So to be able to perform with that and work off of that and never really know what someone was going to do, that's so much fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to check out my Harpers Bazaar cover.